Survivor Series just happened, Randy Orton and CM Punk returned, changing the game entirely, and now the next PLE is the Royal Rumble. So let's break down the top 5 contenders to win the Men's Royal Rumble right now. Coming in at number 5 is Sami Zayn. This is a bit of a long shot because at the moment, Sami Zayn doesn't appear to be doing anything in particular. He challenged Seth Rollins for the belt, the World Heavyweight Championship, lost clean to my surprise, and now he's kind of slowly setting up a feud between him and Drew McIntyre. So I could see Sami Zayn, again, this is why it's number 5, because I don't think it's as likely as the other 4, but I do think there's potential for him to win the Royal Rumble, get that ultimate babyface moment that he didn't get last year at Elimination Chamber in a singles run too, because at WrestleMania 39, he did get the WrestleMania moment, but it was part of a tag team, and I think Sami Zayn has really been trying to push himself as a solo act. So I could see this happening. It's a little unlikely, and I don't know who his WrestleMania opponent would be. Probably Drew McIntyre. Like, if Drew McIntyre is a full heel by this point, he dethroned Seth Rollins leading into Mania. It could be Drew McIntyre versus Sami Zayn for the World Heavyweight Championship after Sami Zayn wins the Royal Rumble. I could see that, especially since they broke up Sami and KO, I believe, right after Payback, which begs the question, okay, they must have done that for a reason, because why break up one of the most over tag teams in the division? So again, I don't think it's the most likely choice, but I think there is a solid chance that if somebody dethrones Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship, Sami Zayn is now a potential winner for the Royal Rumble. If it's Seth that's going to retain it till Mania, I don't think Sami's going to win it all, because we just saw that match. Number 4, LA Knight. Bit of hate coming, I bet, because he is really over right now, and people are saying he is the front runner to win the Rumble as the babyface. I just don't see it, because I think he is destined to go for the US title at WrestleMania against Logan Paul. Mainly because him and Logan Paul already have a beef from this Money in the Bank. Logan Paul has teased it on his Impulsive podcast. So it makes sense that that would be the money match for LA Knight going into WrestleMania. A lot of people would say that the US title is a downgrade from Roman Reigns' title. I think, honestly, the only reason LA Knight was going for Roman Reigns' title is because Roman needed a match at Crown Jewel. Rumor was it was going to be AJ Styles at first, but then, higher ups, Triple H looked at the landscape and said, LA Knight is super over right now. Let's just do this match now, because we're probably not going to get another chance to do it. And that's why I think that match happened. I think it was fine. I think LA Knight down the line will go on to win the World Heavyweight and the Undisputed Universal Championship. But I think the plan right now is to have him win the US title at WrestleMania from Logan Paul. Number 3, Cody Rhodes. I think it's likely. I just don't think he's going to win the Rumble 2 years in a row. I think him declaring himself as the first entry in the Royal Rumble basically gives away the fact that he ain't winning a thing. I do think he will enter the Rumble at number 1 and last the entire thing. And here's my prediction. I think he will be the last person eliminated in the 2024 Royal Rumble. I don't know if that's a hot take or not. We all know Cody needs to finish the story, but I think the way to do that is have him go through even more adversity. So to have him go through the entire Royal Rumble, lose, and then potentially win a shot against Roman at the Elimination Chamber is probably the way they're going to go. We all know that is likely the main event of night 2 of this year's WrestleMania, Cody versus Roman 2. And if you just have Cody win right away, at the Rumble, that could just start the build and then we're off to the races. But it would be so similar to last year, I just don't see them doing it. Number 2 was my number 1 until Survivor Series, and that's Gunther. Gunther has had a super dominant Intercontinental title reign and has definitely outgrown it by now. It's definitely holding him back. He needs to go on to the next title scene, mainly the World Heavyweight title. And I think prior to Survivor Series, what was definitely going to happen, in my opinion, was Cody would enter at number 1, last the whole thing, and Gunther would come in at number 30, and they would be the last 2, and Gunther would eliminate Cody. This would be kind of poetry from last year, where Gunther came in at number 1, last the whole thing. Cody comes in at number 30. They're the last two. Cody eliminates Gunther, and this would have been the reverse of that. And then Gunther would have gone on to challenge Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight title at WrestleMania. I don't think that's happening anymore because of my number one, which I'm sure everyone can guess at this point. I also do think that Seth Rollins is retaining the belt until WrestleMania. And Seth Rollins versus Gunther, while that is going to be an awesome match, I don't see that as a money match per se compared to my number one. I think the stronger money match for Gunther is the dream match with Brock Lesnar, whether that's for the Intercontinental title or just a singles bout. I think that is the match to make with Gunther at this year's WrestleMania, because they set it up last year at the Rumble. Gunther and Brock Lesnar had that stare down. It was one of the most viral moments of the event itself. So I just think that's probably where they will go at this point, but I'm not ruling it out. I could totally see Gunther pulling it off because he's the workhorse that's in the company right now, that's busting his ass, and maybe they'll want to reward him for that. I just think post Survivor Series, it's not going to happen anymore. And that leads me into my number one, CM Punk. I think this is basically a lock at this point. I think Punk versus Rollins for the World Heavyweight title, main eventing night one, potentially even night two of WrestleMania, is a lock. They set up this match the moment CM Punk returned at Survivor Series, with Seth Rollins throwing middle fingers and FUs out and throwing a tirade. Even me as an adult thought that that was a shoot. I think in hindsight it was a work, and I think Seth Rollins will retain the title until the Rumble. Punk will go into the Rumble at any number, whatever, probably a later one, win the damn thing, challenge Seth Rollins, and we're off to the races. I think that is the match to make. One could argue that that match doesn't need a title, and I would agree and disagree, yes and no. It doesn't need a title, but a title really, really elevates that thing. I mean, it makes it a big event money match. If it was without a title, if it was a grudge match, it would still be awesome, but having the title be in play just makes for a much more compelling story. It gives CM Punk and Seth Rollins a lot more to chew on when they're doing their promos. I just think it's totally a lock. And, you know, I'm sorry, Gunther, I just think that's what's happening right now. CM Punk versus Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight title at WrestleMania after CM Punk wins the Royal Rumble. All right, do you agree? Do you disagree? Who else do you think has a chance at winning the Rumble? I almost debated putting The Rock in this list, but then I was like, no. Okay, bye.